Hey, Marcus here from Ain't Got a Clue. Just want to say thank you for listening to our podcast. Please don't stop doing it. In case you didn't know, we have a Patreon. And on that Patreon, we drop exclusive episodes that are only for our patrons. And they're just as juicy and jam-packed as our regular ones. If you want to support that, all you have to do is head to patreon.com/Ain't Got a Clue. But before you do that, why don't you have a listen to a little taster of one of our Patreon episodes? And I'll tell you what else we get on our Patreon at the end of the clip.
So the question for today is, how many cantons are there in Switzerland, Marcus?
Ain't got a clue. And I'd also like to say, what the fuck is a canton?
Right, well, I'll tell you the answer. There are currently 26 cantons in Switzerland.
Okay.
What comes to mind when I say Switzerland?
Cheese.
That's a good...
Holy cheese?
Yeah, the
Holy cheese?
The one you see in cartoons.
That's the one, yeah.
It's like, oh my God, there's some cheese over there. This is all made of cheese. What a great place. Oh, yeah.
Cheese, Swiss Army knives, because when I was a kid, I was like really impressed by somebody having what was like the equivalent of an iPhone, latest iPhone, by having a saw, a sharp knife, toothpick, tweezers.
Absolutely useless as well. They are. Do you know what? I found out while I was doing research for this, I found out that they're not even manufactured in Switzerland. So that just pissed me off, man. I was just like, we have been lied to.
Deception.
We have been conned. And what we have seen here is a whole bunch of hokey cokey.
I feel like I may have a clue to the answer to this. Where are Swiss Army knives actually made, Kay?
I've forgotten that.
Okay, cool.
Right, so to answer your question, there are 26 cantons in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And you're asking, what's a canton? I don't know. What's a canton?
It's a name for each of the gadgets that comes out of a Swiss Army knife.
I mean, there probably is 26.
Yeah, well,
26. Uses for a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
no.
but Kay, I do not know what a canton is. I ain't got a clue.
Right, so a canton is the English term now used for administrative subdivisions of other countries. It originates in French usage in the late 15th century from the word edge or corner. So,
canton.
Essentially, a canton is a bit like a state. The closest thing we could like compare it to is the states in America.
Okay,
canton. So the United States of America.
Okay,
it's the similar sort of thing. So, the last time I heard about cantons, rather selfishly, was in. So while the Civil War was going on in Switzerland. You got
Switzerland on the brain or something, Kay? It's really funny. It's like that's all you're thinking about.
No, when the civil war was going on in Syria, the Kurdish forces had they freed some of the things from terrorists and Assad's regime, and I'm biased, I would say that, but yeah, they were. So they had 3 different areas, and they had they called them cantons. They had 3 different cantons, and what they did was they made sure that there was sort of a democratic system in where you would have so many people in a like board that ran that canton.
Yeah.
But there'd be a male co-chair and a female co-chair. Yeah. And there'd be an even amount of women and men on the like this governing body.
It's really fair.
Those cantons. Yeah. So like
probably the first time I've ever heard of a political setup like that ever.
Yeah. I think it's called like democratic confederalism or something like that. So you have somebody at the top that like gives out essentially the ideas, and then towards these cantons for more like individual stuff. Like,
how many roads should we have in this area, or like, what should be our policy on like farming here? Like those,
should we have a congestion charge in an area or something like that?
Exactly, yeah. So those things are more decided more at a local level, and I think it probably, it works in Switzerland.
I always thought of Switzerland as one big ass place.
So did I.
But it's got 26 cantons.
It's got 26 cantons, and we'll get onto that. So
I just want to say one more thing that I think about Switzerland is like yodeling as well.
Yodeling?
Do you remember that yodeling girl? That was like, she was like, yodeling, 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 yodeling.
Inside that place with a brand new Leodo. Watch me bring up my bogle.
So 26 cantons.
So in the past, each canton in Switzerland had its own army and money, but it's changed in 1848 when Switzerland finished the Civil War, and it changed its structure to where it is now. So you've got the cantons. Do you want to hear the names? The individual municipalities and cantons are very free. So usually there's a Swiss law at every level of the whole confederation. Very often this states general things that the cantons must follow this rule. So the cantons make detailed rules in each way it seems fit. Sometimes it leads to strange situations though. So there are 26 different schooling systems.
26 schooling systems.
Yeah, so imagine that, like, their syllabus is like,
yeah, we could
we learn like trigonometry in like year 8. What year do you learn it in?
I've not done that, and I'm in year 10.
Yeah. And also it's probably because of the different population sizes. They probably have like different methods that work in different places.
And also, like, if you've got a population that's in a farm area, like an agricultural area,
yes,
you do well learning about farming. But if you had an area that was like, I don't know, like not a farm, like a fishing area, wouldn't you be better off learning how to fish? I like it. It makes sense.
But like one of the examples, bro. So drug abuse is a federal offence, and punishment is usually 1 to 3 years. But it can and it can also be a fine. But the problem is consumption itself, not trading or giving away for free, is not punishable. So in like cases, the police can say that there will be no fine, but this has led to the fact that in each canton, the laws are applied a bit differently. So in one canton, smoking marijuana will mean a fine. In another, it will mean a prison term.
So you'll have a man that's standing on the border and he'll have his spliff on the other side. If officers look at him, he'll lean over and go,
Zurich, burn.
Look at
Zurich,
the police.
burn.
Yeah, the police. And what, bruv?
Yeah, and then he's just like, yeah, we're going to have to take you to the gun, mate.
And also, are you saying that it's all acceptable to give drugs, but it's not acceptable to sell them? So you could be like, officer, look, officer,
the
I understand.
consumption of it is not.
Okay.
So taking it,
right.
But like, it's like here where they're like, taking it isn't illegal, but the possession is. So it's like, how can you take it if you don't possess it?
Except for Notting Hill Carnival, where the guy's like, weed, buy a weed.
Unless you put like the spliff on like some contraption where it holds it, and you just go. Because
not touching it. I ain't touching it, mate. Not touching it.
I don't possess it. I don't possess it.
If there is some weed that's lit and I so happen
to walk past it and suck on it,
hey, stranger things have happened, eh? Hey, you know what I mean, officer?
So this is called federalism, right?
Yeah.
This means that each canton has its own government, so all cantons have their own constitution, and the constitution is the highest law in the state. That is constitutional. So
okay.
Each canton's sovereign to the extent that their sovereignty is not limited by federal law. Areas specifically reserved to the Confederation are the armed forces, currency, the postal service, telecommunications, immigration into and emigration from the country, granting asylum, conducting foreign relations with sovereign states, civil and criminal law, weights and measurements, and custom duties. That all kind of makes sense, innit? Because you don't want to have like 26 different armies. You don't want to have 26 different types of money, 26 different types of postal services.
26 different measurements for a gram.
Yeah, it's like...
We use inches over here.
You don't use centimeter?
No, centimeters is it's a German invention. We are Swiss. We don't use that.
You should become metric.
We prefer the imperial system.
First time I heard a Swiss man say that, boy. Hey.
So, and also each canton's got its own constitution, legislative, executive, police, and courts. So yeah.
So to clarify here, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm very likely to get it. So they've got their own. They've got their own. There are rules that are in their control in each canton. However, there are some rules that come from the state at the highest level that everyone has to adhere to.
Yeah, so a bit like how Scotland and Wales have a level of devolution, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, because you couldn't have everyone driving on different sides of the roads in each of the cantons, because that'd be wild. Mad.
And then how would you even sell cars to them?
God, you just had to put the wheel in the middle of the car. If I had my own canton, I'm going to be thinking about laws now that I would make. By the end of this podcast, I will have my own.
What laws would you make?
Swiss Army knives must be only called Swiss Army knives and made in my canton. That's what I'd have for starters. Fallacy.
So in Argu, the first female physician, Mary Heim Wortlin, was born in Bozen, Argo in 1845. So the first female doctor.
Big up yourself, Mary. Ever in the world.
Yeah, first
Sick.
female
Big up
physician.
yourself, Mary. Thank you very much for
That's
setting
what
the
I
trend.
believe. That's what it says.
Thank you very
in
much.
my research. I'm not sure.
How unfortunate was that? Yeah, we'll run with it like it's right. If you think we're wrong, let us know. Hashtag ain't got a clue on Twitter.
Let me tell you, right? So the next place. Apanzel Auserhuden.
Say that again.
Apanzel Auserhuden.
One more time.
Panzel Auserhuden.
Bring it back now.
Panzel Auserhuden.
Fun time.
Apanzel Auserhuden.
For the doctor.
Panzel Auserhuden.
Do it for us all.
Apanzel Auserhuden.
Twist it up now.
Apanzel Auserhuden.
So that was a clip from one of our Patreon episodes. To listen to that and a bunch of other Patreon exclusive podcasts, plus you get all of our content that we drop on our regular feed early, all you have to do is head to patreon.com/ain't got a clue or check the link in the episode description. See you next time. Bless.